My mother-in-law mocked my weight, job, and looks at every dinner for 6 months and disguised it as teasing. So I started to respond with dead silence. When I first married Jake, I thought I'd hit the lottery with his family. His dad was this quiet guy who loved woodworking, his sister Amy was hilarious, and his mom Linda seemed like this warm, welcoming woman who kept saying how happy she was Jake found someone. The first few family dinners were great. I'd bring dessert, we'd all laugh about Jake's terrible cooking phase in college, and Linda would tell embarrassing stories about all her kids equally. It felt like I'd gained this whole bonus family. Then about 3 months after the wedding, something shifted. It started small at Sunday dinner when Linda looked at my plate and said, "Wow, someone's hungry today. Better slow down or Jake won't be able to afford feeding you." Everyone laughed uncomfortably while I sat there confused because I'd taken the same amount as everyone else. Jake squeezed my hand under the table but didn't say anything. The next week she commented on my dress saying it was brave of me to wear something so tight when I was retaining water. I wasn't retaining anything. That was just my body. Amy changed the subject but the damage was done. Every single dinner became Linda's personal roast session with me as the target. She'd joke about my job at the bank being so easy a trained monkey could do it. She'd laugh about how Jake must really love me to look past my cooking since she'd raised him with actual taste. When I got my hair cut, she said I was brave for choosing a style that made my face look rounder. The worst part was she'd always follow up with "just kidding, honey. You know I love you," which made everyone else act like I was being sensitive if I looked upset. Jake would tell me later that's just how his mom showed affection, through teasing, but she never teased anyone else like that. Amy's weight gain was off limits. His dad's bald spot was never mentioned. Even Jake's recent work struggles were handled with kid gloves. But me? Fair game apparently. For 6 months I tried different approaches. I laughed along, which made her jokes get meaner. I tried joking back once and she actually got tears in her eyes and said she couldn't believe I'd be so cruel when she was just being playful. Jake had to apologize to her for me. I tried talking to Jake about it seriously, but he said his mom had always been like this, and I should take it as a sign she was comfortable with me. The breaking point was my birthday dinner. Linda made this whole show of bringing out a cake, and then announced to everyone that she'd gotten the sugar-free kind since I'd been looking a little puffy lately, and birthdays aren't worth diabetes. Then she laughed about how at least I was young enough that my metabolism might still kick in eventually. His dad actually winced. Amy left the room. Jake just stared at his plate. That's when I decided I was done playing Linda's game. The next Sunday, Linda made her first joke about my promotion at work, saying at least they promoted my looks since they couldn't promote my brain. I just stared at her. No smile, no laugh, no response, just dead eye contact. Then I turned to Amy and asked about her new apartment. Linda looked confused but jumped into the conversation. 5 minutes later, she tried again, joking about my parking job outside. Same thing, stare, silence, turn to someone else, start new conversation. It was like she didn't exist when she was being cruel. At first, she got louder, thinking I didn't hear her. Then she started repeating her jokes. Then she'd actually tap my shoulder and say, "Did you hear what I said?" I'd look at her blankly and then ask Jake's dad about his woodworking project. The whole family noticed immediately. Amy started jumping in faster to change subjects. Jake's dad began talking over Linda's jokes. Even Jake finally started seeing the pattern because the silence made it so obvious. Without my forced laughter or hurt reactions, Linda's jokes just hung there in the air, nasty and pointed and mean. She looked pathetic trying to get my attention for her punchlines. After 3 weeks of this, Linda pulled Jake aside and said I was being rude and ignoring her. Jake actually told her that she only seemed to notice when I didn't respond to her jokes, and maybe she should think about that. She tried switching tactics, being extra sweet to me hoping I'd engage, but the second she made a mean joke, back to silence. The best part was Thanksgiving. Extended family was there and Linda tried her usual routine, making a joke about my family not being able to visit because they probably couldn't afford it. 20 relatives watched me stare at her in complete silence for 5 full seconds before I turned to Jake's cousin and asked about her new baby. Linda's sister actually whispered, "What the hell was that about?" Linda's face went red. Full story on channel. Link below.